Our readings today, at least the first and third, are about calling. We see Samuel's call. It wasn't until the fourth time that he heard the Lord, that he knew it was the Lord, and he answered. Yet the Lord kept calling him because he was a very special and chosen one to the Lord. In the gospel, we see John doesn't have an account of Jesus' baptism, and this today is John's introduction of his apostles to become Jesus' apostles. And when Jesus passes by, John says, "Behold the Lamb of God," and introduces them or calls them to Jesus' followers. And they follow Jesus, and he says, "What do you want?" And they say, "Where are you staying?" But more than that translation says staying, but ultimately they were saying, "What are you about?" And Jesus said, "Come and see." In our own lives, believe it or not, God calls us. Like John the Baptist pointed his disciples to Jesus, our parents pointed us to Christ through getting us baptized, at least most of us who are baptized. And throughout our lives, Christ calls us at various times. We don't realize, but how many times throughout our life have we stopped and stepped aside and prayed, what should I do? What choice should I make? Whether it would be the step toward marriage, the step towards different things in your life, what type of work would I do? God calls. The important thing for all of us is we step aside and listen. Listen and discern what that call, what that choice should be that Christ is calling us to. The discernment is harder, the harder the choice can be. Sometimes we're called to make a choice of doing something that is very difficult and something that maybe we really don't want to do, but we know it is the thing to do. God does make us happy with the choices we make. We can live with them even though they are difficult and bring about hardship sometimes. Our choices obviously have not led us to be great missionaries, but we are called as Christians to care for one another, to look out for our fellow human beings throughout the world, to worry about the hungry, the starving, people who are homeless, people who need shelter. All these things many of us do in the way that we can. We can't resolve all the problems of the world, but we do what we can. I know as a parish, we reach out to those around us as best we can, and I commend us for what we do and say that we're still called to work towards doing more, and let us try and do what we can do. This is what the message of call means, that Christ constantly calls, but it does require that we listen, that we say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening."